So this is lecture number 14 of Introduction to Physical Metallurgy class. And today we'll again stick with this same topic, that is symmetry in crystals. Right? So this is again a very important topic. And in the previous lecture, we have started this one with lot of examples. Again, I'll show you some interesting things today. I'll show you a video also to make the things clear. So these are the contents of today's topic: symmetry continues, symmetric operations and elements, rotational reflection symmetry videos I'll show you on polygons, and I'll also discuss symmetry in cubes or cubic crystal system, and number of allow fold of symmetry and reason, criteria of selecting a criteria to select a particular unit cell, and why certain Bravais lattice are absent. Okay, so these are the topic. So before moving into the symmetry again, let me recall what we have
Excuse me,
discussed in the
sir.
previous. Yes.
Sir, please give entry to some students. They are waiting, sir.
Okay. So in the previous lecture, we have discussed uh, like we have two kinds of symmetry basically. One is translational and one is the non-translational. And non-translational symmetry is also called point symmetry, right? So best example of translational symmetry I have shown you in the previous lecture, right? Translation means you are moving from one lattice point to another lattice point. It may be in diagonal direction, it may be horizontal, it may be vertical, and the same thing will reproduce, right? That means we are reproducing the same structure if we are doing translation in a crystal or in a lattice, right? Similarly, we have non-translational symmetry like rotational symmetry. We have a symmetry called inversion symmetry. We have reflection symmetry, right? So in the reflection symmetry, if you remember, if there will be a two-side mirror, then the left side of the object will be the reflection of the right side, and right side will be reflection from the left side, like that. And rotational symmetry, if we choose an axis and we rotate the object by certain minimum angle, and it will come into its same structure again, we can reproduce the same structure, or we are making it self coincidence, then that is again called rotational symmetry, right? So all of these things we have discussed. So here it is written: symmetry is used to characterize a crystal in crystallography, right? So we want to characterize any crystal, we can characterize it by symmetry operation, because crystal system different crystal system have different symmetries. Basically, number of symmetry is different. Some may have higher symmetry, some may have lower symmetry, some may have particular value of symmetry that will be fixed.
सर
Yes.
सर ये रोहन और दिलेश्वर को एंट्री दे दीजिएगा ना.
So the definition is like this. Already I have discussed that an object is described to be a symmetric object with respect to some kind of transformation, which may be some kind of movement like rotation, translation, or inversion also, right? If the object looks completely identical with its starting state, or the structure will get reproduced, or object will come into self coincidence, that is called symmetric. Symmetric object. So now what is symmetric operation, right? So symmetric operations means what? These are symmetric operations. Translation is one operation. That means if you translate and the object will come into its self coincidence, or the structure will reproduce, that is called translational symmetry, right? And the one is rotation, that is another operation we can do, because in the previous lecture what I have told, you have to do some geometric operation on the object or on the crystal so that the structure will reproduce again. So that may be translation, that may be rotation, reflection, inversion. So these are the symmetric operation, or geometric operation, you can also say in simple way, right? So what are the elements? The symmetric elements are related to these four operations. So if you want to do translation, you need a what? Translational vector, right? That vector will move, or that vector will translate in a particular direction. And similarly, if you want to do rotation operation, then you must have an axis of rotation. It may be an axis may be passing through the center of the body, or it may be passing through the diagonal of the body, or it may be somewhere else through the edge also, edge of the object, right? So that is an axis, fine. Then reflection. If you want to do reflection, you need a mirror plane, right? Similarly, if you want to do inversion, then you need an inversion center, right? Inversion center means that is a point actually. Suppose you take a diagonal, you draw a diagonal line, you put a center on the middle portion, then top one and bottom one will be like they are equal, basically they are at equal distance, kind of thing. Now I'll show you a video. Okay, just let me show you a video. Just watch this one. This is a very interesting video.
One part completes the shape. But wait. If this part is flipped to the other side, we see. Let's draw an isosceles triangle. It's a triangle in which two of the sides are equal to each other. And we had seen in the previous video that it has a vertical axis of symmetry. If this part is flipped to the other side, we see that the two parts match exactly. And that's why we say that this shape is symmetrical. This is called reflection symmetry. Why is it called that? Let's see. If we take one part and keep it against a mirror, we will get the original shape. The reflection of one part completes the shape. But wait, what is the other kind of symmetry? Do we have another kind? To know the answer, here's another figure for you. This figure is made up of 6 squares to be precise. Now I want you to tell me if this shape has reflection symmetry or not. Can we draw a line through it such that the two parts formed match exactly with each other? If we try out different lines, we realize that no such line can be drawn. This shape has no reflection symmetry, but what this shape has is rotational symmetry. Yes, rotational symmetry. What does that mean? As the name suggests, let's try rotating the figure about its center point. And what does rotating about a center point mean? Take the example of this triangle. If we rotate it about its center point, it will rotate like this. If we rotate it about this point, it will rotate like this. And if we rotate it about one of its vertices, it will rotate like this. The shape will rotate differently depending on the point around which it is rotated. Now let's come back to our figure. We rotate the figure completely around the center point once and see how many times it looks exactly like the original one. Rotating it completely means rotating it by 360 degrees. Let's have a counter on the right which counts the number of times the rotated figure looks like the original. Let's start. Now the figure rests at 0 degrees. After rotating it by 90 degrees, we get this shape. It's not the same as the original. The counter is still at 0. Okay, so let's rotate the original shape by 180 degrees. And we see that it looks exactly like the original shape. It fits in perfectly. We see an increment of 1 on the counter. We continue rotating it till we finish one complete rotation. Rotating it by 270 degrees gives us the shape which is not the same as the original. And rotating it by 360 degrees gives us the original shape back. The counter changes to 2. What does this 2 tell us? It tells us that when this figure is rotated completely by 360 degrees, the rotated image looks exactly like the original image twice. Once at 180 degrees and another at 360 degrees. So we say that this shape has rotational symmetry of order 2. To recap, when do we say that a shape has rotational symmetry? It's exactly like the original 2. So we say, let me give you a few shapes And why don't you try finding their order of rotational symmetry? First, an oval looks like this. Next, a square, an equilateral triangle, and a circle. Each of them has rotational symmetry, but we need to find the order. We begin with the oval shape and start rotating it. Let's see how many times the rotated image looks like the original. Once and twice. We saw that it looks like the original shape 2 times after the complete rotation. Its order of rotational symmetry is 2. In a similar way, why don't you try finding the order of rotational symmetry for these 3 shapes? Let's start rotating the square now about its center point. 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and 360 degrees. Clearly, the order of rotational symmetry for a square is 4. Now for the equilateral triangle. 120 degrees, at 240 degrees, and at 360 degrees. 3 times in one complete rotation. The order is 3. And now we come to the circle. What do you think will be the answer here?
So can you tell me what will the answer for a circle?
360.
Here, order means fold, right? As I told, fold. And here the ma'am is saying it is order. Huh? Any guesses? What is the order for this?
1 sir.
The moment you try to rotate a circle at a very minimum angle, it will come into self coincidence, or it will come into, or you can reproduce the same structure of circle, right? So it will be infinite, right? Just have a look.
No matter how we rotate the circle, it will always match the original shape. It will have rotational symmetry of order infinity.
It is okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
Because in the previous lecture, I have told you the formula, right? The number of fold, here she is saying number of order, that is n is equal to 360 degree divided by minimum rotational angle, right? Theta. N is equal to 360 degree divided by theta minimum, right? You can find out the order, that is n, or you can find out the fold. Anyhow, we have to rotate the object by 360 degree maximum possible. But after how much minimum angle it will come into its self coincidence, or it will, all the structure will repeat, that will give you the order. Fine. Just look at this another video. I'll not show the entire video, just have a look. This is rotational symmetry. Huh? These polygons are coming into self coincidence after certain angle of rotations. Fine. The top triangle is an equilateral, but bottom one is not. Okay, fine. And if you remember, we have 7 crystal systems, from which we have a cubic crystal system, right? And the cubic crystal system, we have primitive cube unit cell, we have face-centered cube unit cell, we have body-centered cube unit cell, and we have That's all we have, right? We do not have any kind of end center or base center unit cell. Fine. So just have a look to this cube. The same cube, but different positions. It has. Fine. So here we want to find out the rotation axis or rotational axis of the cube with number of fold symmetry. Fine. So suppose this is the initial structure of the cube. Now just have a look. The center of axis, whenever you want to do any kind of rotation, then you need an axis. So here the axis is passing through the edge center. You can see it will pass through the edge center through this edge like that. And now you want to rotate it, right? So this is the image here. The image is this one. Yeah. Just have this one is this one. Fine. You can see the axis are passing through the edge. So how much fold it will be having?
Four.
A cube appears unchanged when rotated by 180 degree along edge diagonals. Okay, right? Just have a look. This is the edge of the cube. And the axis is passing through the edge, right? So if it will be rotated by 180 degree, then it will come into its same structure again. Initial structure will repeat again. So if it will be, the minimum angle will be 180, so how many fold it will be? So n is equal to 360 degree divided by 180. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
It is okay? So how many fold it will be, or how many order it will be having?
So twofold.
Twofold. It is already written over here. You can see twofold, right? So if the axis is passing through the edge diagonal through the cube and you want to rotate it by that axis, if you rotate it by 180 degree, it will come into its self coincidence, or the structure will reproduce again. So number of fold will be twofold. That means again you rotate it by 180 degree, it will come into its self coincidence. And final rotation is what? 360 degree, right? So again, look at this second one. Now you want to choose an axis passing through the body diagonal. This is the body diagonal. It will pass through like this. And now you want to rotate it. So after what angle of rotation, the structure will repeat again or reproduce again? That is 120 degree. Very good, 120 degree, right? So this image is similar to this one. You can see this is the axis passing through the body diagonal, right? This is the axis passing through the body diagonal. This is the axis passing through the body diagonal, right? So how many fold it will be? Threefold, right? Number of fold n is equal to 360 degree divided by 120. Fine. Similarly, now you want to choose an axis which is passing through this face, perpendicular to this face only, this face and bottom face. So you want to rotate it. So this is the image. You can choose this axis, you can choose this axis, you can choose this axis. Fine. So it will be coming out at fourfold, right? So a cube appears unchanged when rotated by 90 degree along a line perpendicular to face. So these are the rotational axis in a cube or in a cubic crystal. Twofold, threefold, fourfold. Now mirror plane, if you remember, I have told you mirror plane, right? Just have a look at the mirror plane. So you can choose a mirror plane which will cut the cube like this. You can choose a mirror plane which will cut the cube like this one. Fine. You can choose a mirror plane like this, right? You can choose a mirror plane cutting through the diagonal. You can choose a mirror plane like this also along another diagonal, right? So this mirror, suppose I am choosing this mirror plane, this one first. So if I'll choose this mirror plane, that means this is a two-side mirror. The right side is also mirror, left side is also mirror. So this part will be the reflection of this one. And this one will be reflection of this one, right? Similarly, if I'll choose this mirror plane, so top part will be the mirror image of this one, bottom part, and bottom part will be mirror image of this one. Similarly, if you can choose the diagonal, same thing happens also, right? And you have to remember a cubic crystal have most symmetry possible. You have to remember we have 7 crystal system. From 7 crystal system, cubic crystal will be having maximum symmetry possible. Fine. That is threefold. You can see threefold axis, four-fold axis, 6 two-fold axis. And an inversion center is also there, and mirror plane is also there. So 3 four-fold axis, 4 three-fold axis, and 6 two-fold axis. How it is? Just have a look. Can anybody figure it out? How it will be? Like first one is, it is written 3 four-fold axis. So where it is? 3 four-fold axis. So 4-fold axis is present over here, right? This one. If you choose a center passing through the face, center of the face, right? You have 4-fold axis, and it is written 3 four-fold. How it will be 3 four-fold? Can anybody guess? Just have a look. You can choose an axis like this. This is 1 four-fold. You can choose an axis like this. It will be 2 four-fold. Then if you can choose the axis like this, it will be 3 four-fold. It is okay now? How it is 3 four-fold? Or shall I repeat?
Yes, sir.
You can choose an axis like this. So it is 1 four-fold. You can choose an axis like this. It will be 2 four-fold. Then you can choose an axis like this. It will be 3 four-fold. Right? Similarly, 4 three-fold axis. So you just look where 4 three-fold. It is 3-fold, right? So now we have how much? 4 three-fold. How it will be 4 three-fold? Just imagine the situation. The axis is passing through the body diagonal. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. It is okay now? And here it is written 6 two-fold axis. 6, how much? 6 two-fold. So this is the two-fold one. Just have a look how it will be 6. Can anybody tell me quickly how this will be 6 two-fold? See, this axis is chosen like this. The axis is passing through the edge diagonal, right? You can see edge diagonal, right? So this is 1 edge diagonal. This will be 2, this will be 3, this will be 4. And 1 edge diagonal will be like this. And the edge diagonal will be like this, right? So 6 two-fold. You people have understood now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So this is done. So it is a beautiful statement. Symmetry is property that an object may possess. It is not a physical characteristics. Now, low and high symmetry of object and inversion symmetry. What is meaning of low and high symmetry? It is very good thing. That is, if an object have only few symmetry element, we can say it has low symmetry. And if it has more symmetric elements, it is high symmetry. Symmetric elements already we have discussed. That is like mirror plane, axis, and lattice vectors. Fine. Then suppose, okay, this is an example. Suppose we have 4 number of objects. Listen it carefully. We have total 4 number of objects. The first object have 6-fold rotational axis, and second one have 4, and third one have 3, and fourth one have 2-fold rotational axis respectively. Then we can say the first object with 6-fold rotational axis have higher symmetry, and lower symmetry is of fourth object which have only 2-fold rotational axis. It is okay. And inversion symmetry is a symmetry with respect to a point, and that point is called inversion center. Now same thing, this is I have shown you in a form of table. Symmetric operation and elements. Symmetric operation may be inversion, may be reflection, may be rotation, may be roto-inversion. So for an inversion operation, we choose a point, that is element is point. For reflection, we choose a plane, that is called mirror plane also. For rotation, it is axis. And roto-inversion, this is an axis. Fine. Now the question is how to confirm whether a material is crystalline or not. the best thing you can do is you can do XRD analysis, X-ray diffraction analysis. We'll study that in the coming lecture. Just you have to use X-ray, and that X-ray you'll get a plot if you remember. That is intensity versus 2 theta. Anybody remember that intensity versus 2 theta? How to identify whether the material is a crystalline or amorphous? Anybody remember? By doing XRD, you will get a plot that is in y-axis, that is intensity. In x-axis, we have 2 theta. Nobody have remember? We'll get a sharp peak, right? If it is a crystalline material, we'll get sharp peaks. Intensity versus 2 theta peaks are sharper. But if it will be not sharp, it is a broad one, or a single broad peak we'll get, that is an amorphous. So if anybody will ask whether this material is a crystalline or not, just do an XRD. You'll get sharp peaks, and those sharp peaks will show these are crystalline materials. Fine. But if it is a broad peak, no sharp points are there, then it is called amorphous or non-crystalline. But before diffraction experiment is conducted to confirm the material or sample is crystalline or not, we can go for many observation also. Without doing XRD, you can also say this is crystalline or not. So what you can do, just check crystal have sharp edge and flat face, right? So if you have gone through any quartz, just search for the quartz from the nature, you'll see we have sharp face or flat face, and edges are sharper basically. So you can call it as a quartz crystal. See, you have to remember this is an interesting point. The quartz, what is the formula of quartz? Chemical formula of quartz? Anybody remember? It is SiO2. It is a silica actually. So silica can remain as an amorphous form. It can remain as a crystalline form. So quartz is nothing but a crystalline form of SiO2, silica, simply. But that may also remain in amorphous form. That is very interesting. Some direction are present where it can be easily or clearly cleaved. Means it can be broken into pieces easily along certain direction or crystallographic direction. So these are the points. Now rotational axis. Already you know the formula, n is equal to 360 degree divided by theta minimum. Or theta minimum is equal to 360 divided by n. So already you understood what is this table is showing, right? So if n is equal to 1, then theta will be how much? Theta minimum will be 360 divided by n, that will be 360 degree. So that means no symmetry is present. One fold symmetry means no symmetry is present. Here fold means order also you can say. So if number of fold is 2, then theta minimum will be 180. So we have two-fold symmetry or rotational axis. Okay, suppose you take a alphabet A. Now you rotate it by 180 degree. So what will happen to the alphabet A if you rotate it by 180 degree? So does A will come into its self coincidence? Yes or no? If you take an alphabet A, you rotate it by 180 degree. So alphabet A will come into its self coincidence. Can we reproduce the structure? Yes or no?
No, sir.
No. So how? So up to how much you have to rotate?
So 360 degree.
360 degree. Very good. So that means how number of fold rotational axis will be how much?
So 1.
But if you take an alphabet N, you try to rotate it, then you rotate it by 180 degree. So what will happen?
Sir, it will coincide.
Very good. It again you can reproduce the same N, right? So it has two-fold symmetry like this. So A do not have two-fold symmetry, but N have two-fold symmetry, or A have only one-fold symmetry, or you can say no symmetry is present like that. Fine. So now if the number of fold is 3, then theta minimum will be 120 degree. So 3-fold symmetry, rotational axis is present. If the n is 4, then this theta minimum is 90. So we have 4-fold symmetry, rotational axis. Anybody remember which polygon is showing 4-fold rotational axis? Which polygons?
So cube.
Polygon, I am talking about polygon. It is square, huh? Right. Now, which fold, axis, or rotation, or number of fold of symmetry are allowed in crystallography? This is a very important concept you have to remember. Just look at the presentation. Huh? So, crystal possesses both translational and rotational symmetry, but all fold axis of rotations are not allowed in crystallography. You have to remember this statement. We can have lot of fold axis of rotation, but certain fold axis of rotation are allowed in crystallography. So what are those? That is one fold, two fold, three fold, four fold, and six fold. So up to this fold, rotational axis or axis of rotations are allowed only. 5 is not allowed, or higher order rotational axis are also not allowed. Like 5 is not allowed, 7 is not allowed, 8 is not allowed, 9, 10, 11, they are not allowed basically. So in crystallography, we only 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 fold axis of rotations are allowed. So what is the reason behind that? They are not allowed, or they are not compatible. This is the reason. They are not compatible with translational symmetry, right? So this fold are coming because of rotation. We have rotational symmetry. These rotational symmetries are allowed: 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. But 5 is not allowed. 7, 8, 10, and other higher like 11, 12, 13, they are not allowed. Why? Because those, suppose I am talking about 5 fold axis of rotation, that is not compatible with translational symmetry. Because you understand crystal, why? Because crystal have both translational and rotational symmetry. That means you cannot go for any rotation, number of rotations, right? It can have lot of rotation axis, but we cannot call it as a crystal unless until it is compatible with the translation also, right? Now, how to select a unit cell? Okay, how many of you remember, if I'll choose a infinite size of a lattice, how many unit cells can we have in that infinite lattice?
So infinite.
Very good. We can have an infinite number of unit cells. But how to choose a particular unit cell? So this is the answer. To have that unit cell will be chosen which have highest symmetry. That's why we are studying this part. You should remember. We can have infinite number of unit cell in a lattice, but which unit cell you have to choose? Because, okay, fine. Why we are choosing a particular unit cell? Let me see who can answer. See, we can have an infinite number of unit cell in a lattice, but why we are choosing a particular unit cell? Because we have to repeat that unit cell in 3 dimensions to produce the entire crystal lattice. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So you cannot choose any kind of unit cell. If you choose any kind of unit cell, then you will face problem, right? You cannot produce the entire crystal lattice. So wisely you have to choose a particular unit cell out of infinite unit cell, right? So that unit cell you have to choose which will show highest symmetry. It is okay. And smallest cell volume. But you have to remember, this is not always true. Suppose you choose 2 unit cell, one unit cell is showing smallest cell volume, and the unit cell is showing somewhat higher cell volume, but the unit cell which is showing higher cell volume may have highest symmetry. Then you have to choose that one, right? But if you choose these two, that is also fine. Highest symmetry with smallest cell volume. But if you only choose smallest cell volume and it has lowest symmetry, then you will face problem. That is wrong actually. And remember that the environment around any lattice point is exactly the same as the environment around any other lattice point. You have to keep that in mind. Now, translational symmetry. So collection of all lattice translations called translational group. So this is the concept. What is translational group? Translational group is what? Collection of all translational lattice translations. It may be like horizontal, vertical, diagonal, right? Now, non-translational symmetry, collection of all non-translational symmetry or point symmetry form a group called point group, right? Or non-translational group. You have to remember the definition. What is point group? What is translational group, right? Now, what is space group? Space group means is collection of all symmetric elements like translation and point symmetry, right? So space group is combination of translational symmetry and non-translational symmetry. You have to remember. And only non-translational symmetry consists of only point symmetry groups. And translational symmetry only consists of this lattice translations. Fine. Now just have a look. Already I have discussed this one in previous lecture, but look at these images. So what is the shape of this one? Just tell me quickly. What is the shape of this one? This is an irregular shape? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So if this is an irregular object, so if you rotate it by 360 degree only, then it will come into its self coincidence, or you can reproduce the same structure. But if you rotate it by 90 degree, what will happen? If you rotate this irregular object by 90 degree, can I reproduce the same structure? Yes or no?
No, sir.
If I rotate it by 180 degree, can I reproduce the same structure?
No, sir. No, sir.
No. If I rotate it by suppose 60 degree, again the answer is no. So anyhow you have to rotate it by 360 degree. So as I told in the previous lecture, you take any object from the nature, anyhow they have a one-fold symmetry axis. But we will not consider that as a symmetrical object. Anyways, so you can see if you take this kind of object like rectangle, then you have to rotate it by 180 degree. If you take it equilateral triangle, it will be rotated by 120 degree to get the same structure. If you take a square, you will rotate it by 90 degree, you will get the same structure. And if you take this, what is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is a hexagon. So if you take a hexagon, then this will be rotated by 60 degree to get the same structure. Fine, which is written over here only. On the basis of symmetry, classification of 3D lattices. Okay, so how many of you remember, if you take a periodic set of points, then you want to make a 3D lattice, right? So how much, that means, what is the possibility of that? You want to make a 3D lattice. So how many possible arrangement is there?
Sir, 14.
14, very good. And if you want to make a 2D lattice, then
7.
7 or 5? Is it 7 or 5?
7.
Are you sure it is 7? It is square, it is rectangle, primitive rectangle, it is I rectangle 3, then it is oblique, and it is hexagonal. How much? One is square lattice, square 2D lattice. One is primitive rectangular lattice 2. One is body center rectangular lattice 3. One is oblique lattice 4. And one is hexagonal lattice. So it is 5, no? So 5 possible way are there if you want to make a 2D lattice, right? You take a group of points or set of points, periodic points, and you arrange them, and you will end up with 5 different kind of possibility. So to make a 3D, we have 14. So those are called 14 Bravais lattices actually. So now lattice have 7 different point groups, or we can say 7 different rotational and reflection symmetry. Listen it carefully. This is very important. Lattice have 7 different point groups. Or we can say 7 different rotational and reflection symmetry, because as I told, rotational symmetry, reflection symmetry comes under point groups. Fine. That's why we have 7 crystal system. So many people ask this kind of question. Why we have only 7 crystal system? Why we do not have 8 number of crystal system, or 9 number of crystal system, or 10 number of, or infinite number of crystal system? Why we have only 7 crystal system? The answer is this one. We have only 7 different rotational and reflection symmetry. That's why. Or you can simply say we have 7 point groups only. That's why. Now, lattice have 14 different space group. That is translational symmetry plus point symmetry. So we have 14 Bravais lattices. So some people ask why we do not have 15 Bravais lattices, 16 Bravais lattices. We can have, but we do not have. Why? Because we have only 14 different space groups. Space group, as I told definition, it will consist of translational symmetry and point symmetry. So point symmetry means this one, reflection and rotation. So it must be kept in mind that 7 crystal system and 14 Bravais lattice are not based on different unit cells, not unit cell parameters, but on the basis of how many point groups and space group a lattice can have. That is the answer. Because if you remember, I have told you we can have different lattice parameters where A is equal to B is equal to C and alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma. But we can have A is not equal to B, not equal to C, not equal to C, and alpha is not equal to beta, is not equal to gamma, and not equal to 90 degree. We can have lot of lattice parameters. If you go through the lattice parameter, you'll end up with a wrong answer, right? But if you choose symmetry, this point group and space group, then you will end up with 7 crystal system and 14 Bravais lattices. I think you people have understood this one. So this 7 crystal system and 14 Bravais lattices are on the basis of symmetry only, not on the lattice parameters. Okay. And these are the, you can see, these are the 7 crystal system and these are the symmetry present. So just have a look which crystal system have minimum, symmetry and which have highest symmetry. Just tell me quickly. Among the 7 crystal system, which one have highest symmetry and which one have lowest symmetry?
So cubic has highest and triclinic have lowest.
Very good, very good. Triclinic have only 1 fold, but cubic have 4 3-fold, right? Highest one. Very good. Now the question is reason for using symmetry based approach for Bravais lattices. As I told, we are using symmetry based approach to say we have only 14 Bravais lattices, not 15, not 16, not more than that. Why? So just have a look. Why cubic C? Okay, anybody remember what is the C means? Cubic C means what? What is C? C represent end center or base centered, right? Acha, what is I represent? Let me see you remember this one. Body center, right? What is F represent? Face center, right? And what is P represent? P represent what? Primitive.
Primitive.
Very good. You have to remember these things. These are the short way to represent P for primitive, or you can call simple. Suppose I am calling simple cubic unit cell. Simple cubic unit cell is also called primitive unit cell. Only lattice points or the atoms will be at the corner points of the cube. If I am saying F now, F means face centered. So P means primitive, F means face centered. And if I am calling I means body centered. And if I am calling it C, this is end center or base center. So why end center or base center cubic is absent in Bravais lattice? You people have, you are getting the question, this one. See, in the cubic crystal system, we have only 3 primitive unit cells. We have only 3 Bravais lattices. One is simple cubic or primitive, one is face centered, one is body centered. But end center, base center are absent. So that is the question. So answer is here. Here instead of cubic C unit cell, we choose tetragonal unit cell because the latter one have small volume than former one. Right? Suppose you are making a lattice you are making a lattice, for example, and you are confused whether to choose cubic C unit cell or whether to tetragonal unit cell. So you will find out that tetragonal unit cell have lower volume. So that's why we are choosing. But I have also told you, small volume is not always true. You have to look into what? You have to look into the symmetry. The unit cell you are going to choose must have highest symmetry. Then only we can choose it. The second question is this one. Why cubic F face center is present in Bravais lattice, not tetragonal I? Body center tetragonal. So here, like in the first case, we must choose the smallest volume of unit cell, which is BCT. But rather than we choose cubic F. So it means BCT have lower volume, but we are not choosing. We are choosing a higher volume, that is cubic F. Why? Because of highest symmetry present in the cubic F. That's why, which is explained over here only. So why cubic C and center base center is absent in Bravais lattice? So this is the answer. So how to approach the problem? So to approach the problem, you first have to draw the cubic C. Just draw an cube, put the atoms at the corner of the cube, and put the atom at the top face center and bottom face center only. So it becomes a cubic C, end center cubic or base center cubic, right? And second thing, what you need to do now, apply symmetry. Since it is a cube, then which kind of symmetry we can have? Suppose I am talking about rotational symmetry. Fine. So just have a look. We have three-fold axis along body diagonal, which I have shown you. Three-fold axis along body diagonal. Just have a look. Threefold, this one. Threefold rotation axis along the body diagonal. This one. It is okay? This one. So now you have drawn a end center or base center cubic unit cell, and then you apply symmetry, and you know that we have threefold axis along body diagonal. So now what you need to do? Now you try to rotate along the body diagonal. So it should be 120 degree so that it will come into itself coincidence. But what you will find that the coincidence is not happening. Even if you are rotating by 120 degree, the self coincidence is not happening for this end center or base center. But if it is face centered, if it is body centered, if it is simple cubic, it will happen, right?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, we have EE class now, and we are in the class.
Okay, fine. So I'll end the topic here.
Yes, sir.
You can leave.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.